Penguin fans, need to sell a home or buy one? Go with the top producing team in the nation, the Amy Wenger team with eXp Realty. Serving Northeast Ohio for 28 years, experience real estate that achieves your goals and exceeds your expectations. Call today and tell them you subscribe to the Penguin Nation Fans podcast, and they will ensure that you are treated like family. Call 330-681-6090 or visit amysguarantee.com. Go Gwins. All right, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Penguin Nation Fans podcast. As always, I am your host, Gino Leone. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at YTown Nation. And don't forget to check out my written work over on Redshirt Sports. Today, we're in the second practice of the 2026 campaign for the Youngstown State University football team. It's fall camp. The football season's right around the corner. Mercyhurst opener is on August 27th. Make sure you guys get your tickets to that game and go cheer on the team. But we're here. Practice number 2 here in Youngstown, Ohio. We're going to talk about the secondary today. Yesterday, I sort of did an overview of a projected starting lineup, where I view things heading into 2026. Today, we're going to hone in on the secondary and focus specifically on that cornerback room, as there's a lot of turnover throughout the entire secondary. The entire secondary is gone from 2025 due to both the portal and graduation. Multiple starting jobs are still up for grabs. This is a position that we have to watch out for during fall camp, and I'm curious to see how this room progresses throughout the course of fall camp. So why does this matter? Why does this matter? Because the pass defense was atrocious last season. We are allowed around 252 passing yards per game. Mercyhurst sort of exposed us early in the season with 311 passing yards. And although at the time that wasn't as big of a concern as it became later in the season, it sort of exposed some of the weaknesses that we had in the back end of the defense. And that all sort of came to fruition late in the season when we got exposed in those last 4 games. After a great performance against North Dakota State, against Cole Payton, Bryce Lance, a phenomenal wide receiver. After that, we really imploded, and it started with that Southern Illinois game. In the last 4 games of the season, we allowed 1,292 passing yards combined. That's not an encouraging number. I think against Southern Ill, Indiana State, and Northern Iowa, we all allowed 300 plus passing yards. And then against Yale, we gave up some massive 4th down conversions that were 15 plus yards for Yale to convert, and they still got them. So Ryan Riemedio, I've talked about this a lot on this podcast, is going to bring a different scheme. We're going to run a 3-4 scheme next season. I think what we're going to see in terms of improvement in the secondary is I think we're going to see our players put in a lot better positions. I think we're going to see improved leverage, pre-snap communication. That was something that we struggled with at times under John Hanline. There were guys that just weren't set or ready for a play to be snapped. And that's an issue. You have to be set. You have to be ready to go. And I would expect that discipline to be better under Coach Riemedio. And then coverage schemes. I think with Coach Riemedio, we're going to be able to be very multiple in what we do. We have some physical cornerbacks, as I'm going to talk about. It wouldn't surprise me if we activate them with some blitzes and get creative in what we do in coverage, which is something, again, that I feel like we were lacking at times last season, especially in that 4-game implosion to end the season. So Coach Riemedio, he's going to have a lot of options to evaluate here during fall camp. We're going to start with Dev Holman. He's a preseason second-team All-American, transfers in from Butler. He's coming off his career best season, so we got him at the right time through the portal. You don't want to get a guy that's just banking on upside. I like to get guys that have that proven production, and Dev Holman has that. Last season, he had 44 tackles, 7.5 TFLs, 3 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions, and 6 pass breakups. Those numbers show he's physical and he's a disruptive playmaker. I love the fact that he has so much disruption in his resume. He has tackles for loss, forced fumbles, interceptions, pass breakups. That's something that you need in the Missouri Valley Football Conference when going up against some big physical wide receivers. The question for him is, can he produce at the same level in the Missouri Valley? The Pioneer League is a significant drop-off in competition. What does that look like for Holman moving to the premier conference of FCS football? The next transfer here is Darvens Tunis. He comes in from Shippensburg. He started the spring game. I really was encouraged with what I saw during the spring. I'm encouraged with what I've seen from him during fall camp. He recorded 7 pass breakups last season. Excellent coverage ability. I think he might have the highest ceiling in terms of coverage ability in the secondary, a potential breakout player. He doesn't have the production that Holman has or the other player that I'm going to mention here in the second half, but his upside is something that I'm super encouraged by, and he's a young player that produced last season at the Division II level. The final transfer addition that I expect to really push for a starting role at corner. There's some other young pieces that I'd like to mention, but due to time constraints, I just want to talk about some of the transfers and the guys that I think can actually start next season. Julius Jackson is a 5th-year transfer from Washburn. I think he has the most production coming in from the transfer portal. 144 career tackles, 7 TFLs, 2 interceptions, experience, physicality. He has that experience and versatility to play both safety and corner. During the spring game, he was a second-team player along with returnee Dominic Julius, so we'll have to see where he lands, but I love his versatility. Like, if we were to have injuries at safety position, we could slide Jackson back there because he's been there and he's seen what it looks like at multiple different positions in the defense. So I'm excited to see what that looks like for Jackson and if he could potentially earn a starting role this fall camp. And then Jordan Rudolph, the lone returner that I'm going to mention here on this episode. He missed 2025 after a fall camp injury. He's healthy entering his senior season. Let's hope he stays healthy this fall camp. And he's another serious contender for a starting role. He started 3 games in 2024. I thought he looked good for the most part. That was a really bad defense overall in 2024, but Rudolph was one of those few bright spots. We'll have to see what he looks like. There's not much proven production here. He hasn't played that much for YSU, so we're not exactly sure what we're going to get over the course of an 11-game season, but I'd like to see him in this rotation. And the reality is, cornerback may be YSU's most important position battle, especially after last season and how much we got picked on by some of these teams that have top-end receivers. And if we can establish a good 4-man rotation with Holman, Tunis, Jackson, and Rudolph, that's what you need. You need to have that depth at each level of the defense, and I would like to see the cornerback take a step forward in 2026. So that's going to do it for this edition of the Penguin Nation Fans Podcast. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Make sure to leave the show a 5-star review and continue to support the podcast on social media. For now, I'm Gino Leone, and as always, go Gwins.